Family. We finally find out something about Tara's family.
We open with that cat from the other episode, so I'm glad we're getting some continuity.
And Willow and Tara are practicing their bad dialogue skills.
Tara is talking about how she doesn't feel useful, but Willow tells her she is. So the lies in this relationship are just rampant.
Buffy tells Giles what she learned about Dawn being an energy construct in the form of an annoying teenage girl, but she doesn't want to tell Dawn because it will upset her. And Giles suggests sending her to live with their dad, but Buffy says he abandoned them to the point that he hasn't even responded about Joyce's illness.
And they haven't mentioned him since season 1 or something.
They mentioned him after that.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while, yeah.
But Buffy says she needs to protect Dawn herself, and Giles says they need to find out more about the woman in the red dress.
And we see the red dress woman emerging from the rubble from last episode. So it took her longer than I expected.
At school, the gang is moving Buffy out of her dorm so she can be closer to Joyce, and Buffy's constantly asking where Dawn is.
And I thought she was sharing a room with Willow. Did she get her own room at some point? That's a legit question because I didn't think she did.
Well, Anya said they just moved her in a few days ago, so maybe that was her new room.
They talk about finding a way to fight the red dress woman, and Tara makes a weird comment that makes them all look at her like she made a weird comment.
You learn her source, and we'll introduce her to her insect reflection.
After Tara leaves, Willow reminds everyone to show up for Tara's birthday.
Which they all forgot about, because it hadn't been mentioned in the show before.
Yeah, I assumed she didn't have a birthday.
At the hospital, Nurse Ben notices a new crazified patient being wheeled in, and notes that there have been 5 that month.
He heads into the locker room, where a demon slowly creeps up on him. But before it can attack, Red Dress Woman takes it down, saying, "I need a favor." And he apparently doesn't hear any of it. I mean, that thing was hissing and clawing and making a ton of noise.
Yeah. At the magic shop, Anya is excited to have a job. Buffy and Xander walk in, Buffy talking about how she forgot about Tara's party in a very disrespectful way.
Sure, I forgot about the party. There's kind of a lot going on. Well, it's not, the most thrilling social event of the season.
Even though the only thing these people do is go to the bronze. Giles tells Buffy that he hasn't narrowed things down about the red dress woman because Buffy didn't give him much info.
And she points out that it reminded her of Cordelia, whom we also haven't mentioned for seasons, and also felt out of place.
They're trying to get people to go over to watch Angel. Buffy and Xander talk about how they don't know what to get Tara because they don't know her very well. And Xander suggests Buffy train to relieve some tension.
And we immediately cut to her fighting Spike, which of course was Spike's dream, but he's having it while he's banging Harmony.
So I guess technically it's not a dream, he's imagining it, but whatever.
Daydream?
Yeah, maybe. It's fine though.
Good.
A creepy asshole comes into the magic shop and makes fun of everyone for believing in that stuff, and when Tara comes in, he reveals that he is her brother. She is surprised and clearly unhappy to see him, but tries to hide it.
And then more of her family comes in, including Amy Adams. And I had to look it up because I thought, damn, that looks like Amy Adams. And it is.
And her dad is played by the Romulan that they found at the beginning of The Enemy in TNG. And he also appears in multiple other Star Trek shows. So you're welcome, everyone.
So not the one that Geordi teamed up with.
No, the one that they took up to the Enterprise and they were like, hey, the magnetic fields are messing with his brain or whatever.
I don't remember any of that.
Okay.
Be sure to check out our Star Trek videos.
And Tara's dad says he heard that she'd probably be there from a dorm mate of hers, and that they'll pick her up later for dinner. She says okay, but clearly does not want to do so.
Buffy is fully moved in back home, and prevents Dawn from running out of the house and going across the street, which annoys her.
But of course she doesn't explain to Dawn at all why she doesn't want her to go.
And Riley suggests contacting the Initiative, which I don't think will ever make me not laugh.
And thankfully Buffy says no. All of a sudden I kind of like her.
But then of course we get more of that stupid drama where he says, "You're not letting me be a part of your life."
Oh man. And despite Buffy's protestations, he leaves in a huff. What a Buffy. Tara finds her dad in her room, which he says was unlocked, which was really smart for a character that associates with people that are always being attacked by demons and stuff. and he looks at all her witchcrafty stuff and says they had hoped she would get over it if they let her go, which made no sense.
And he says that she's almost 20 and has evil inside of her that will come out, so she needs to come with them.
He says he'll give her some time to think about it and that they'll love her no matter what, but...
How do you think your friends are going to feel when they see your true face?
The red dress woman, who is now a not red dress woman, wakes up the monster guy who she has chained up, and she learns from his grunts that Buffy is a slayer.
So how did both of them get out of the hospital?
How did the monster get into the hospital in the first place?
I mean, she could walk in and out because she looks like a regular person, but that demon does not.
Yeah, so she tells it to gather some friends and go to kill Buffy. Willow visits Tara and says she wants her to help with finding the red dress woman. Willow says they can try the demon finding spell again that Tara secretly sabotaged back in Goodbye, Iowa. But Tara says she's too tired and dealing with her family, and that the world doesn't revolve around Willow and the gang, which was a refreshing perspective.
But it doesn't seem to click for Willow. And at the magic shop, the gang is working on coming up with a plan when Tara sneaks in from the side, casts a spell on them.
Involving magic pink dust that for some reason none of them can see. And when it flows into them, they have a weird reaction, but don't seem to be aware of it.
I mean, of course, they wouldn't see it. Haven't you seen Batman and Robin? No one can see that shit that Poison Ivy's blowing around.
Oh, man, that...
I'm gonna make you put in a clip of Batman and Robin.
Oh, great. Just what I was hoping for.
You're welcome, everyone watching.
Of course you would think of that. I never would have thought of that. Oh, man.
Hey, some of us just like,
High art.
Yeah. I mean, the verisimilitude of that movie just hits hard,
I guess there are some things worse than Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Riley goes to Willie's demon bar, and some hot girl walks up to hit him up, but she doesn't even have to because he immediately buys her a drink. But then when she asks if he wants to go somewhere else, he says his heart belongs to another. And that he's not into vampires, which I thought was pretty racist.
So he just goes to Willie's bar and hangs out with monsters because he feels useless.
I mean, he was working with an organization that was trying to kill all demons or whatever, and now he's hanging out in this bar. The bartender even points out how stupid it is, but he does it anyway. I guess it's easier than building a new bar set.
I mean, get a job, find a hobby, do something.
Yeah, now that you say that, does he have a job? Does he still go to school? I mean, not that I really want to find out more about Riley, but I have some questions, I guess.
I don't. Well, my only question, I guess, is why are you still in this show?
Yeah.
In Spike's crypt, Harmony busts in after a shopping spree, and Spike is fondling his Buffy head, which was pretty funny.
She tells him about how she heard that some demons are going after Buffy, and Spike gets upset and leaves. But demons are always going after Buffy. That is the premise of the show. Amy Adams finds Tara out on the campus at night, and it seemed unlikely that she just happened to find her like that. Tara says that she's not leaving with them, but Amy Adams says that her friends will reject her when they see what she really is. So Tara admits that she used a spell so they wouldn't see her demon side.
Meanwhile, at the magic shop, the demons all show up, but apparently no one can see them. And I wasn't sure when Willow opened the door at first. I thought maybe she was just pretending she couldn't see them and was going to run back and be like, shit, there's a bunch of demons outside.
I wondered why they just stood there when Willow closed the door on them, and then how they got in without anyone hearing the bell ring.
Well, probably the same way they got in that locker room.
I guess. In the training area, Buffy senses the demons but can't see them, and they start attacking everyone. Spike shows up and helps, and then Tara runs in.
And she casts another spell so the demons are all visible, so they beat them all up.
Tara's family suddenly walks in and sees Buffy kill the last one.
Tara apologizes for everything, saying she didn't want everyone to see what she was. And that's when Tara's father reveals to everyone that Tara is a demon.
He says that all the women in the family have demon in them, and that's where their proficiency with magic comes from. But Willow and other people use magic all the time, and they're not part demon. When Willow asks Tara if she wants to leave, she says no, and everyone sticks up for her. How touching.
Except Spike, which was pretty funny.
You're dealing with all of us.
Except me.
Except Spike.
I don't care what happens.
The whole thing got pretty cheesy, though. And that was not a Cheetos reference. After all of our insults towards them, they dropped us as a sponsor.
Yeah, we'll have to find someone else.
Anyway, Cheetos suck. Cheez-It is where it's at.
We've always felt that way. We just kind of forgot to say it in that other episode.
Well, we couldn't because of our contract.
But if we get a new contract, we might say it all the time.
I think it's really funny that we act like we have sponsorship. We are making, not a lot of money from these videos, just so you guys know.
So if anybody knows anybody that works at the Cheez-It factory, let us know.
Anya asks the family what kind of demon Tara is, but the family can't tell her.
Spike walks up to Tara and punches her, which was unexpected, and it hurts him, which supposedly means there's no demon in her because he only gets hurt when he attacks a human. But if she was part human, I would think it would still hurt? I don't know.
And her spell made demons invisible to everybody else, but they could see her when she showed up.
Well, but she might not have known that because they were busy.
Maybe.
And I still have questions about how Spike's chip knows when somebody is a demon and isn't. If it's in Spike's body, I assume it's just working off of Spike's own senses. So if he senses somebody as a human, wouldn't it think that they're human or the other way around? I don't know.
So apparently Tara is not actually a demon, it's just a family legend. And that's enough evidence for her family too. Like Spike's whole thing, even though they know nothing about any of them.
And then her family just leaves. I mean, they do have some parting lines, but, I don't want to put them in there, so they just leave.
Shortly after their arrival. Now, see, I just thought of that, but I should have gone through and found every Amy Adams movie I could and tried to stuck it in.
I was going to say, I'm surprised when you brought up Batman and Robin, you didn't somehow tie in Batman v Superman or something.
I mean, I was just so enchanted by Amy Adams being there.
Oh, man.
I don't know any of her other movies.
Good. The gang hangs out at the Bronze, celebrating Tara's birthday, but it's mostly just them doing stuff on their own.
And there were a lot of people there. Who invited all those people? How do they know all those people?
I think it's just because they're at the Bronze, and these people are just like, hey, let's go to the Bronze. I don't think they set it up as an official thing.
Okay.
They just decided to get in everybody's way and bring all that crap in.
And during the party, Riley shows up and doesn't do anything. Then Willow... No, that's it. Then Willow and Tara dance, and Willow says she's proud to know Tara and loves her no matter what, and they recreate the end scene from Casper.
Family. Overall?
So at first, I was like, all right, Tara's actually got some stuff going on, which was great. And even though she didn't actually have stuff going on, the whole thing turning out to be a catalyst for her to feel like she's part of the gang was good, but it will be wasted if she continues to sit in the background for future episodes, so I guess we'll see what actually happens. I have some doubt. That's an Amy Adams movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Why are you being so weird? But okay. I mean, I still have that question, but anyway, continue.
I mean, because I'm just the master. I've got IMDb pulled up right in front of me right now. You can't win. I'm going to be racing along with these titles, and you're going to be standing still.
Is that a movie? Are you making this up?
And I'm moving too fast. Catch me if you can. Anyway, let's get back to this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I get that the episode was called Family, and I was wondering, is that why Buffy mentioned her dad? Because that was out of place. And none of the other characters really mentioned their family members. Like, I thought maybe Willow would mention her mom, or something like that. And Cordelia is not part of anyone's family, so that was extra out of place when Buffy brought that in. I am glad that the Red Dress Woman sent out all of the demons to attack Buffy. It would have been lame to have her show up, bitch and moan, and then not do anything. But I am disappointed that they spent so much time researching throughout this episode, but didn't find out even the tiniest thing, though Buffy was not helpful in providing clues. And you would think that because she's being so overprotective of Dawn, and knows that this woman wants to kill her, she'd be taking things a little more seriously. And I mean seriously in the sense of, I need to know everything I can about her now, as opposed to what the show is telling us seriously means, in the sense of, I can't let Dawn walk around outside. Those are not the same things. You chose the stupid one out of the two. And something was bugging me throughout this whole episode. I was wondering, why do I enjoy this episode more than usual? And it became clear when Riley didn't show up until the birthday party. And I was like, oh, it's because he wasn't around for most of this episode. He's pretty much useless at this point, and throwing in, hey, maybe I'll call the initiative to help, over and over is not working. Just rejoin them, have everybody cry, and be done with it. Just go away, even though apparently they don't exist anymore, but they do. And they're monitoring you all the time, apparently. Spike's arc is also continuing to do nothing, and that's getting old pretty fast. It's literally to the point where he randomly decides to show up and states out loud that it doesn't matter that he's there or what he's doing, and he doesn't care.
It feels like they're desperate to have him involved for some reason.
Right.
because they realized it didn't make sense. But it still doesn't really make sense.
The only other character to get any forward momentum in this episode was Anya, who was still adapting to her new role as a productive member of society. So that was good, even if it was pretty small. And what? Nurse Ben was in this episode for 30 seconds to take his shirt off? Great use of runtime. Thanks. This episode could have been a lot better. It just needed to refocus itself on what was important more than it did. It was too spread out. But in terms of Tara's stuff, I think it worked. But overall, the episode did not. I gave it a C+.
I gave it a C. I really want to know how that family legend came about. And did Amy Adams already know that it wasn't true? Because she didn't seem to react at all to that revelation, and she was still antagonistic toward Willow afterward. And if the demon side supposedly reveals itself when they turn 20, I mean, wouldn't Tara just the next day when she turns 20 realize that it wasn't true because nothing happened? And if it wasn't true, and there were no demon parts of them or whatever, I thought it was weird that the family wouldn't react to Buffy killing a demon. Would they think it was a guy in a mask that she just killed? Either way, they seemed to not really react to it. It was weird. And for setting up Tara's dad to be as overbearing and controlling as they wanted him to seem, he sure gave up easily. That didn't feel genuine to me at all. It made him feel more like a plot device than an actual character, which is what he was. And there wasn't a whole lot else to this episode. It was good to get some backstory for Tara, and for the others to acknowledge that they didn't really know anything about her. But it also doesn't feel like this episode will really affect her character going forward. The whole subplot about her not feeling like part of the gang had barely been set up in the first place, and this seems to have been the resolution, although we do know that they keep rehashing the same ideas over and over, so I won't be surprised if it comes up again. I did like that they explained Tara hiding the magic dust in that other episode, which I thought they might never do. The Riley drama is developing as lamely as I would have expected. I did like Anya in this episode, so at least one aspect of the episode was completely satisfactory to me, and I'm glad the Red Dress Woman showed up again already, and that Buffy told Giles what she found out about Dawn. But we still don't know anything about the woman or what she wants, other than that she wants Dawn, which makes it hard to care too much about what she does at this point, because we don't know what it means or the significance of it or anything. So this episode wasn't bad, but I thought it was kind of forgettable.
So, we'll see if there's more cheesy moments between everybody. Could get extra cheesy, could get hot and spicy. Let me find one more.
I mean, that already describes like half the episodes. More than half the episodes.
Oh, snapped. Thanks for watching.